Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 82. On today's episode is actually going to be a very special episode. I have a special guest, RDS, Red Devil Studio. He's actually a Man United fan. He has his own Man United channel. If you're ever interested in Man United news, previews, match reactions, go to him. He's a fantastic YouTuber. I've actually watched a couple of his videos. Amazing content, actually. But
Thank
on
you.
today's episode,
Thank you very much.
yeah. But on today's episode, we're going to be doing a Barcelona versus Man United preview. Now, both teams are in very good run of form. You could say at the very start of the season, both teams, there were some doubts about them. Barcelona, where like, hey, we just activated these bunch of levers, we spent a bunch of money. How is Barcelona's season going to go? There were like, some high expectations. We crashed out of Europe. But the season has been improving. Barcelona has been doing better. Now I could say the same thing for Man United. Man United had like a rough start, and now under Ten Hag, the team seems a lot better. And this clash, it seems going to be like a UCL clash. Like the quality is going to be amazing, and I can't wait for the games for the game. But first question, what were your guys' feelings ahead of this game?
Should you go first? Or me? Okay.
You're the guest. You got it.
I'm worried. You know, I'm worried. I'm
Worried.
very, very worried. And I'll tell you why. Firstly, it's away from home, so that's the first thing. United typically have not done particularly well against Spanish teams in general, let alone away from home. You know, so and when I look at how good defensively Barcelona are, aside from Marcus Rashford, who's been getting most of United's goals this season, has been very, very good on good form. There isn't anyone else in the United team that's really, really stepped up to the plate in case Marcus Rashford doesn't. You know, sometimes Garnacho might chip in from here and there. Sometimes you might get a lucky goal from midfield, like from Fred or Casemiro, etc. Or Bruno. But generally speaking, Manchester United's main goal threat is going to come from Marcus Rashford. And in part that's come from injuries. Martial has just been injured all season effectively.
Yeah.
He's not there. Weghorst is there, but he's not really being utilized as such. He doesn't seem to quite fit into this team. Yes, Sancho is back, but again, we're still waiting to see what Sancho's really going to do, to be honest. And then you throw into the fact that Lisandro Martinez and Sabitzer both are suspended for this game, at least for the first leg. Although Casemiro will be back, obviously because of the Premier League tax. I just look at this Barcelona team that's, even though yes, they've not got Dembele or Busquets, etc., they're a team that are now got a lot of confidence. And they look like they're building something. They're top of La Liga. They've got a fantastic defensive record, and they'll be confident that they can go, especially if they hold on to the ball midfield-wise. They'll dominate this Manchester United midfield, which is where the game is won. So, I think if United can go to the Camp Nou and get a draw, I think that'll be a good result.
Okay, Kenny, what were your thoughts?
So he hit it on the nail right now with the Barcelona take of Barcelona being very confident, because that's what they are. They're a team that they're oozing confidence. They've gathered in points whenever Real Madrid drops points. They've come in and built their advantage in La Liga. As a fan myself, I have been wanting to be confident this entire season, but I've had a feeling of dread this entire season. So when it comes to United is a team that I have been watching almost every game in the Prem. They're probably my favorite team in the Prem this year. I've just been watching their games. Their games are really enjoyable. So I know this United team, and I'm scared as a Barca fan. I don't know about United coming out with a W. I don't know about that, but I do think they can scrape together a draw, and that's going to be abysmal for Barca, because then we would have to go to Old Trafford and pull out a result.
Yeah, the game at Old Trafford is going to be very difficult.
Right. So I'm very nervous.
I'm actually like looking at this game on Thursday. Like I have like a lot of excitement just because these are two heavyweights of football, like going at it. Now, even though Barcelona's defense has been good so far, there have been moments late in the game just because Barcelona has like hasn't been able like to close the games out, where we're under pressure like the last 10 to 15 minutes. And in those last 10, 15 minutes, Man United will have chances. Man United will have chances. Just depends if they can finish him. Because right now, Rashford, I would say he's probably the world's most informed attacker. He's just been bang on form. He's been playing amazing. So Barcelona's going to have to find a way to cope with that. And just basically the chances, since they are going to get chances, we have to make sure that those chances are like half chances. They're not clear cut. It's not like a one-on-one where like they can be able to finish. Just that's going to be an interesting duel to see, for example, how does Marcus Rashford go up against Koundé or Araujo on that side. Now, ideas, how do you think Man United is going to line up? Because Martinez and Sabitzer, those are two big misses.
So what I think, to be honest, the biggest thing is going to be how he's going to line up defensively. Okay. Because we saw against Leeds, Ten Hag has known to change it up a little bit. Obviously, De Gea will be in goal. That's obvious. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, defensively, so Lisandro Martinez will be out. I suspect Varane will start. Now, so the first question is who's he going to play alongside Varane? And I suspect what he'll do, especially if Tanner's thinking more defensive, is that he will play Luke Shaw's left-sided centre back. So rather than throwing in Maguire, because that's not going to happen.
Let's have our fingers crossed.
Harry Maguire starts.
It's possible, So, but but he probably. I think that's one of the reasons why he because he actually played Luke Shaw as a left centre with Maguire against Leeds with Malaysia.
Okay.
I have a feeling he did that because he was thinking about Thursday. So I think he'll probably play Varane with Luke Shaw as his left centre back, and then Malacia as the left back, and then right back. So that's the second decision: is does he start Dalot or does he start Wan-Bissaka? That I don't know. Because
which player would you go for?
Just I would probably go for Wan-Bissaka. I think
Wan-Bissaka.
I think Dalot still needs, because Dalot's been out for a while.
Okay.
And I think he played about 70 minutes against. He's basically played the games against Leeds. So he's probably so I think he's still in time to get back. And I just feel like away from home, we just have more solidity when Wan-Bissaka actually comes onto the field. I think Dalot still potential is better going forward than Wan-Bissaka. But to be honest, Ten Hag has actually made Wan-Bissaka a lot better as a better football player this season. So I would personally go Wan-Bissaka over him. We'll see what happens. As for the midfield, I think that's easy because it's just about availability. It's going to be Casemiro, Fred, and Bruno. Just because those are the only available midfielders. There's no debate about that. I would be very surprised if he brings in Kit, because the alternative is we don't actually have we don't have
a bench.
aside from maybe Mainu or Palestri, who can maybe come in. Some Palestri is actually a talent. He's a baller. I think people are sleeping on the kid. As far as the front three, does he play Weghorst again at number 9 against Barcelona? Possibly. It looks like Ten Hag's persevering with it. So I'll say that I presume he'll start Weghorst again, in which case he'll play Rashford off the left, which is where he's better played. Okay. And then probably he'll play Sancho on the right.
And Sancho on the right. Okay.
Yeah, for impact.
And then Garnacho for the impact. Okay. That's interesting. Because we saw in Man United's previous game, especially against Man City, they used to have that, I would say, that counter-attacking football. Is that correct, like to describe it?
I don't really know.
Like in the big games, like how does Ten Hag approach the big games?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because obviously Ten Hag is a good coach, and obviously Ten Hag. I don't know what it's like the Ajax thing, but I suspect that Ten Hag will have some understanding of the Barcelona philosophy, how Barcelona play. So Ajax, the coach, the Koemans things and stuff like that. They tend to have that, and obviously there's the connection between the two clubs. So I I think the very fact it's away from home, I can see why he would want to go down the counter-attacking route. I mean, I think we have the midfield and we have the front row to do that. It has been a bit difficult with Weghorst being there. I don't think we've really been able to do it with him there. Which is why the alternative for him playing would be to play Rashford as number 9, to play Garnacho on the left, and to play Sancho on the right. That would be more concerning if you're like a counter-attacking team because of the pace and that those guys have. But personally, for me, I think he'll try and at least have some sort of control in the midfield, especially with Casemiro sort of being back. Essentially what I'm trying to say is I don't think Ten Hag is going to completely default back to counter-attacking.
Yeah.
I think that in the games that we did it really, which were against Arsenal, where we didn't really have any of our top midfielders available.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even say we really did it against City. I don't think we beat City purely on counter-attacking. I think we actually were able to hold on to the ball a lot more. So and City, to kind of summarize it from what I remember anyway, like City in that game were not able to use their width at all. So what we did is basically made them come inside and play in the middle, and then we're able to basically get the ball. That's basically the how. So it wasn't purely from a counter-attacking point of view. So yeah. In summary, I think in this game, essentially, I think it'll be a mix of it probably will be a mix of the two. I don't think it'll just be purely, or we just dig deep and let Barca have the ball. Because if we let Barca have the ball, and I'm sure Ten Hag knows this, you guys are going to score. You're at home at Camp Nou. You're going to score. You're going to be this. It doesn't help us.
Yeah.
If we give you guys the ball, so we've got to do something else,
So I was going to go to RDS's point where in that Man City game, you say that they forced the game to go into the middle instead of going out wide. And when that happens, who stood up in that game for you guys a lot was Casemiro. I feel like Casemiro was a big reason why you guys won that game. And so if that's the strategy going into the Barca game, do you think Casemiro is going to be able to lock down, Barcelona the same way he locked down Man City?
I mean, what I can say is that he's going to be well rested. He's going to be well rested. That was one thing that I was concerned about initially going into this game, because of how many games we were playing. So the suspension, in a sense, is a blessing in disguise because he's had about a week and a bit off. Right. So he's got to be well rested. So and the fact that him and Fred. They do have chemistry wings. Obviously, they play together in the Brazilian
the national team.
Him, Bruno, Fred. There's chemistry there. Speak Portuguese, all the rest of it. So
right.
I think that you're right. It is going to be on how Casemiro plays. But I've seen how Pedri plays, so this is the thing, So it's. I almost feel like that we almost need to force, if we need to almost go wide, we need to almost rely on because the one thing that I do from seeing Barcelona is that I'm not completely convinced that they're good at defending from set pieces, from width, from crosses, etc., from corners, stuff like that, and that's why I'm thinking where maybe Ten Hag might play Weghorst and think, guys, come on, just cross the ball into Weghorst. You've got a big, tall guy in. You guys remember? Elias probably remembers.
Yeah, I definitely do remember.
Versus Netherlands. So this guy just came on and
it was abused because our players they were short. This guy was a giant compared to us, and they were just crossing. Stop, don't cross.
And if for whatever reason, I hope it doesn't happen, but if Jordi Alba gets a start, any crosses from that side are going to go right over. That's something I've always seen with Jordi Alba. He ball watches a lot on crosses. So if there's an instance where he ball watches, it gets over him, and then Weghorst is there at the near post or something, that could be a killer for Barca for sure.
No, yeah.
So I was going to have a question to you guys. So do you have confidence in your attackers to be clinical to score goals?
That's actually a very good question. See, Lewandowski has not been in the best of form recently. He's had some chances in front of a goal where if he was on a better day, he would be able to finish it. Rafinha has been, I think, our best attacker so far. With the absence of Dembele, because at the start Dembele was amazing. He was that, and when he got injured, we were like worried, like, oh my god, we have Man United, we have all these sub games coming. Like, who's gonna be helping us down the wing? But also the thing is that because our attackers so far haven't been the best, Xavi has implemented that 4-man midfield, and I would say our midfielders are actually better than our attackers.
100%.
The difference in quality is less, and I think this is the lineup that Barcelona is going to be starting with. So we have Ter Stegen in goal, Koundé, Araujo, Christian Balde, Pedri, Kessie, Frankie de Jong, Gavi in the midfield, and up top we're going to have Rafinha and Lewandowski. I would say one of the most interesting battles is going to be Araujo versus Weghorst, if he does start, and Koundé versus Rashford, just because Man United have very fast players, and Barcelona also have some very physical and strong players. It just that matchup is going to be very interesting. But I think that the lineup basically for Barcelona speaks for itself.
Didn't they face each other in the World Cup? If I'm wrong, when because Rashford came on, I think at some point for France, wasn't Koundé playing? I'm trying to remember. I'm
Koundé playing. That game.
Yeah, England France. When Southgate decided to put on Rashford really late, which was a bad idea.
Oh yeah.
If they did, I don't think they really had any one-on-ones.
Yeah,
No, because on that side, no, I was thinking just like the left hand side. No, wrong side.
Elias, are you done, or you want to keep going?
No, go for it.
Because I was going to answer RDS's question about if we're worried about our finishing ability up top. So obviously, I trust a guy like Lewandowski to score goals. Rafinha has been a little bit iffy, but for me, the one belief that I have is that this team is going to figure out a way to manufacture a goal. Just because when you watch them play, the way they pass in between each other, they believe in what they're doing. They believe that the end result is going to be a goal. Same thing with Arsenal too. If you watch Arsenal, the way they pass the ball, Arteta and that squad has put a belief in them that if they just stick to their system, it's going to work. And I see the same thing with Barca, with Xavi. Even though it's been a frustrating game, those games with Barcelona, Elias, how many games have been 1-0?
They give. I would say the majority of the games
that are 1-0 that should have been 4-5-0.
Yeah,
It's frustrating, and for Barcelona in the past, those games would have ended up in L's. But now we believe in the system, and we believe that a goal is going to come, and that's why I'm never worried when we scuff it up top.
But the difference is that Barcelona know that if they score a goal, we are not conceding, and that's like a big point, because if we have the defensive solidity, we know that, hey, we just need one goal. If we get that one goal, we basically win the game. But this is where Man United come in, because once again, even though the defense, I said this like at the start of the episode, Barcelona has been defensively solid, but they do give chances. And with Man United's quality attackers, they can punish those chances. For example, in the game against Villarreal had, I believe, had one clear chance. It was basically a one-on-one. And it was Morales versus Ter Stegen. If, for example, that's Rashford, he's burying that, and it's 1-1. So this is why Barcelona's going to have to be very, very intense in the defending, because Man United are going to punish those chances. They're fantastic on the break. It's just like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So Arias, what do you make of Barcelona's lineup? Like when you look at this team, how do you think? What are his weaknesses?
I mean, how good has Christensen been for Barca recently?
Serviceable.
I would say the back line has been our fortitude so far. I think I think it has a mixture of everything. For example, they have pace. Christensen has been one of our best signings so far in the season. He's just basically like the calm to the storm. He complements Araujo, and I would say that back line is Barcelona's best part. Just the thing is that I worry about is late into the game.
The legs.
The legs. This system doesn't have much flexibility because Barcelona, they play with that 4-man midfield, and we don't have any other midfielders besides, for example, like Pablo Torre, a young player. Late into the game, and with Busquets injured, if, for example, we get tired, Man United are going to be able to come on to us, put a lot of pressure on top of us. and it's going to be up to Barcelona to see if they can basically scrape like through the last couple of minutes, because that's what Barcelona's been like so far this season.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, it's in a sense it's good because United as attacking options on the bench are quite limited, really. There's no Anthony, as we said, there's no Martial, as we just sort of said. So really, their attacking options are to change things are Garnacho and Palestri probably. But that said, when Garnacho and Palestri have come on, they've always performed well. So they've always caused problems. So. And especially, the young players, they can run through. So if you're now, it's 70, 75 minutes and people are tired, cause them problems, So
exactly.
So I do look at the Boston team. I'm like, where's the sort of the true DM holding midfielder in this team that's going sort of, maybe prevent that? I don't see it. But also, if Barcelona aren't scoring the goals, is there anyone on the bench that can come on and make an impact? Because United, obviously, as I said, we only have Garnacho, but do Barcelona actually have like what essentially, like, if plan A doesn't work, what is plan B?
Okay, so so that's a very good question, because what Xavi has done so far is when he tries to basically be more attacking, he doesn't add a third forward. He basically switches like for like. So, example, if Rafinha in the game against Villarreal, Rafinha wasn't playing a good game, he basically subbed Ferran Torres in that wing. But Ferran Torres hasn't been great so far this season. He's been he's been low on confidence, and in the opportunities that he has played, he hasn't impressed. And Ansu Fati has been relatively the same. He's had some moments of brilliance, but he hasn't been brilliant. So if Barcelona can get a goal, that's going to be a problem. Just because our attacking options off the bench, they aren't great, because these players are not high on confidence. They're not in good form. And Barcelona, if plan A doesn't work, Barcelona are really going to struggle. But before we round off the episode, guys, what are your match predictions? Match result. Or yes, you can go first. Oh, I think you're muted.
So I'm muted. This is a difficult one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 1-1 actually.
1-1.
1-1. I'll go with a draw. I still think it's gonna be. And I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. If my heart says 1-1, my head says probably 2-1 to Barca. Because you can't ignore history, but the United have struggled traditionally against Spanish teams the way they play, and I don't think we're at that level yet where we can challenge that. As you said, defensively, Barca is still strong, and United are heavily reliant on Marcus Rashford. So if you basically mark Rashford out of the game, I don't think they really kind of have like a lot really. So although he could obviously still score, really, like I said, if United are going to get him from the game, they have to try and beat Barcelona in the air, and we have to see basically Casemiro pocketing Pedri essentially, which is possible.
It's completely possible. It's completely possible. Kenny?
All right. Before I give my goal scoreline predictions.
Yeah.
RDS, is Anthony injured? Is he going to play?
He's injured. He's not playing. He's not.
Okay, there goes that. All right, so then I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Weghorst header for Man United. And I'm going to say Rafinha keeps up his form.
Rafinha keeps on his form. So I was actually thinking, like, this game is not going to be high scoring at all. I think it's going to be very cagey. I think if there is goals going to be scored, it's going to be in the second half and late. I don't think it's going to be open-ended or anything like that. When you look at Barcelona in the league, they've been 1-0, 0-1. They've been keeping some like very tight score sheets. But I am confident in this team. I think the absence of Lisandro Martinez is going to be huge. I think that down that side, I think Barcelona can do something. I'm going to go for just a 1-0 victory. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory. It's going to be very tough for Barcelona, and I think that's going to give just the edge to Man United at Old Trafford, because at Old Trafford, I think it's going to be a completely different story. But
I'm scared of that game.
It's gonna be a very difficult game in England. But RDS, thank you for coming on, guys.
No problem.
Guys, I'm gonna post a link down below. Just basically, if you want to follow Man United news, if you're interested in anything like that, check out his channel. He posted some fantastic content. But as always, guys, like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you guys all on the next video.